Okay guys, so we're going to continue on with our unit on budgeting. Now, last class we made a budget on a sheet and piece of paper and pencil, pen, and you haven't used a calculator. This time we're going to use Excel, and hopefully this will make it a little easier for you to change some numbers around rather than having to erase. And we'll get to learn a little about Excel along the way, because I know most of you are not real fluent with this. So the nice thing about doing this on a video here is if I'm going too fast, you can pause it, get caught up, and then continue on, or even rewind it. All right. So the first thing we're going to want to do is pull up a blank Excel worksheet. All right. And you should automatically go to cell A1, and let's go ahead and type in budget. All right. And then let's go ahead and skip a few lines and go down to cell A4 and go ahead and put in gross income, the first thing that goes on the budget. Now notice how gross income doesn't quite fit in cell A4. The column A is not quite large enough, so let's go ahead and put our cursor at the top between A and B, and notice how the cursor turns to a double arrow. Go ahead and hold the mouse key and pull it out so that gross income fits. And let's go ahead and give ourselves a gross monthly income of $2,500. And since we're going to be using column B to put all of our dollar figures in, let's go ahead and have the computer automatically put in dollar signs whenever we put a number in here. So let's go ahead and click B at the top of the column, and that highlights the entire column B, and then we'll go to Format, and then to Cells, and then there will be 6 tabs up here, and it should be on the Number tab. If not, go ahead and click Number tab, and then look for the category that says Currency, and go ahead and click OK. And notice how our $2,500 now is $2,500 and no cents, and the dollar sign is there. Alright, so the next thing we're going to put in is taxes, and we're going to assume a tax rate of 25%. And so let's go ahead, actually let's double click back in here and add in 25%. And instead of getting a calculator now and trying to figure out what 25% of 2,500 is, we're going to go ahead and put in a formula so that Excel figures it out for us. Now to start a formula, we'll just go ahead and hit the equal sign, and that tells Excel we're going to do a formula. Now what we want to do to get 25% of a number is we want to take that number and multiply it by 0.25. So let's go ahead and we'll click on cell B4, and that's where the 2,500 is. And notice how it puts B4 in where our formula is going to be. Now we want to take that cell B4 and multiply it by 0.25. So the multiplication is the asterisk on the keyboard, which is Shift 8, and we multiply it by 0.25 because 0.25 is 25%. And then we go ahead and hit Enter, and notice how 25% of 2,500 is $625. Alright, and so finally we end up with net income, and of course net income is our gross income minus taxes, so we can use yet another formula for this. And remember, to start a formula, hit equals, and we want to take our 2,500, so I'll click on cell B4, and we want to subtract our taxes, so I'm going to hit the minus sign, and then we'll click on the cell our taxes are in, which is cell B5. And so our formula is B4 minus B5, and we'll hit Enter, and we notice our net income is $1,875. Alright, so next we want to start our expenses. If you remember, we have 3 types of expenses. The first one is a savings, and the next expense is a fixed expenses, and then finally we have variable expenses. Now we see that variable expenses doesn't quite fit in the column, so we'll make the column get bigger again. Alright, so I might have a savings account that many of you already have, and if I put just 10% of my gross income in that savings account, I would be putting in $250. So let's go ahead and start with that. Now, fixed expenses that I might have, I could have rent, and let's just throw out a number of, say, $400 a month. If I had rent, I'm probably paying some sort of electricity, and let's call that $50 a month. And maybe I own a phone for $50 a month, and perhaps I have cable TV for $50 a month as well. Now, I may have a car payment, And that car payment may cost me $200 a month. Let's make it $250. And I may have some auto insurance because I have a car. And let's just round it at $100. Okay. And if I have a car or insurance, I probably better have some gas so I can get around. Alright, so those are some fixed expenses. Now, let's go ahead and look at some variable expenses. I might have some entertainment, let's say $150 a month. Alright, I may have some a miscellaneous fund just in case, so I'm prepared in case something happens. Hope I don't need it, but you never know. Alright, I also may want to go on vacation this summer, so maybe I'm putting away a few dollars for my vacation fund. And let's say that's $100 a month. Okay, now we can go ahead and find out what our total expenses are. And if you remember, our total expenses must equal our net income. So now I don't want to add all these numbers up, so the easiest way to go about and do this is I'm going to put my cursor in where I want the expenses to go, and then I'm going to go up to the toolbar. There's a funny looking E up here, and it's an auto sum function. And if I go ahead and click that, it makes a formula of the sum. And right now it's the sum of B24, B27, so it's three numbers. Well, I want all my expenses, so I'm going to take my cursor up to where my savings account is at $250, and I'm going to hold my mouse key down and pull it all the way down to vacation fund. Okay, and notice how it puts the box around all those, and notice how my formula is B11 to B26, and I go ahead and hit enter, and notice I'm spending $1,500. Now I've got $375 yet to go. Okay, so if I have a savings account, maybe I also can have some investments, maybe stocks and bonds or something like that. Maybe I throw in $150 a month in that. Well, there's $1,650. Alright, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I can then take my entertainment up $50 to $200. Alright, and so there we go. I got $1,700, $1,875, and maybe so I'm $175 off, so maybe I add $175 to $250. How much is that? Is that $425? And yes, it is $425. Alright, so now my total expenses are $1,875 and my net income is $1,875. I've now accounted for all the money I have. Now we'll kind of spruce this up a little, and I might go ahead and bold all the categories just to make it look a little pretty here, and I'll bold total expenses and go ahead and do net income as well. Alright, so now we have a balanced budget. We know what everything's going. Alright, the final thing here would be to do the percentages for these. Well, if I want to know what percent of my expenses are going towards my savings, that's a division problem. So I want to take 425 and divide it by 1875. Now the way to do this, I'm going to hit the equal sign, okay, and I'm going to click on 425 and divided by, and I'm going to click on B28, that's 1875, and that is 0.22, and of course that would be 22.66%. Well, again, just like we formatted for currency, let's go ahead and format for some percentages. So I'll go ahead and click on C, and that highlights this entire C column, and let's go back to format and cells, and go ahead and click on, make sure the number tab is clicked, and let's go ahead and click on percentage, and let's change decimal places from 2 to 0 and click OK. So savings account rounds for me, and it's 23%. Now there's always whenever you highlight something, there's a little tiny box at the bottom right hand corner of the cell you've highlighted, and if you pull that box down, you can copy the formula. Well, our formula in this first box where the 23% is B11 divided by B28. Well, the second one would be B12 divided by B28. We always want to divide by B28 because that's where our total expenses are. Well, the next one is now B12, but notice that it's now B29 and nothing's in B29, so we always want it to stay B28. So let's go ahead and erase those formulas, and this time we'll go equals, and we'll click on where our 425 is, and again we'll hit divided by, and then we'll click on the 1875, and then before we hit enter we're going to hit F4. And what F4 does is it puts these little dollar signs before B and before the 28, and what that does is that makes it a fixed point, so whenever we copy this formula it's always going to stay on B28. So I'm going to pull all the way down, and it gives us our percentages. Now where there's no numbers there, it's 0, so I'm going to go ahead and just click on and delete those to get rid of them, and there we go. So we can see that 8% is going towards investment, 21% towards rent, 13% towards our car payment, 11% of our income is going towards entertainment. Alright, so now we know exactly where everything's going. Alright, so now you guys can go ahead and do one on your own.